what is community and what does community mean to you? So I actually went and decided to go look up a couple of definitions of community, and I found one on dictionary.com that I absolutely loved. And it said, of or relating to sacred things or matters, religious, devotional, and sacred. I also like to go and look up etymological definitions of things because at times our definitions of things evolve and sometimes they take on a meaning of something well beyond what it's actually intended to be. So the definition that I found of community actually comes from the Latin word communis, meaning common, public, general, or shared by all or many. So I think about that when I get into my talk today for the call of spiritual community. What are some of the things that we hold sacred? And these sacred things, usually the things in people's lives, we hold family sacred, we hold our practices sacred, we hold our friends sacred, we hold our food sacred, we hold all these things in our lives and in our community very sacred. And yet, in our world today, some of the things are not sacred. So, as we look at the things going on today, as a community of spiritual people who are grounded, who are centered into our practices, how are we spreading that sacredness around? So I see I'm flubbing a little bit. That's okay. All right. Uh, so I take a look at the things going on in our world today, not just affecting me typically as a Black man, but how all of us feel into all of these things. And I was a little saddened the other day because I saw a lot of people who are spiritually minded promoting things that were really directly affecting me. And I had to take some time out to cry and to have a bit of an emotional release because, as someone who is a father to two little girls, certain thoughts should never have to come into your head. Things like, what happens if I don't come home? What happens if I encounter a situation that affects me so dearly to the point that I'm never the same again? And that's something that I think about as a community of people who are promoting spiritual practices. For us, our spirituality and our spiritual practices and our teachings were built for times like this. And for us, it's time to honor the practices in all that they are to face times that we are going through. In my 7 years as a healing arts practitioner, I've seen so many things. I've seen this community grow, and I've seen a lot of new practices come up, and I've been able to encounter a lot of ancient practices. And I've seen some really beautiful things and some things that I've begun to question over time, rather. And it allows me to kind of reflect on what I really want to bring in and what I really want to share. And I think that's the big thing for us as a community is let's take these sacred teachings and move them out. So I really want to start off and go into what I believe the call for a spiritual community is. And that's really for us to take that sacred teachings to the world in all of its beauty and discomfort. And I say that because with all the things that are beautiful about our spiritual teachings, they also bring up an immense amount of discomfort because it forces us rather to look in the mirror and face a lot of things. And so, what I think is really important for those of us in a spiritual community is to do some of the really, really beautiful and challenging things. And so, what do I mean by beautiful and challenging? There are wonderful things. We get a chance to tap into love. We get a chance to tap into community. We get a chance to tap into more and more joy, more and more peace, more and more gratitude. But in order for us to do that, we also have to go through some of the more challenging moments. So I think one of the biggest calls for us at spiritual community, and I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about this within my talk, is doing a lot of self reflection.